Welcome to the Reality After Show covering the Challenge All-Stars 5 Rivals Episode 6. I am your host, Alex Trias, always with my ride or die, Paulie Calafiore. Paulie, how you doing, man?
I'm phenomenal. Alex. We have quite the show to cover here. There's the highs, there's the lows. Might even give credit to people I don't want to give credit to, but I am a fair assessor of these things. Like, I'll give everybody a fair shake when a fair shake is due. I'm still gonna have my opinions and my reasoning behind things, but we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it. I'll start off by saying Mark Long should stop tweeting about people on All Stars 5 and just keep doing what he's doing in terms of pushing All Stars 5 because he's doing a great job.
Oh, absolutely. The push is great.
When he puts tweets out there about specific people prior to the episode, I'm now going to watch the episode and I'm going to give my full critique on it. So we'll get into that later.
Yeah. Because Mark is doing a good job. Whether it's his poll or someone in the within MTV actually trying to put some effort into the show instead of just showing 23 hours of ridiculousness and then one 1 hour episode of the challenge. They're still doing the rollout of the previous episode before the episode goes live, and I even saw right after this episode ended, they were replaying the episode right after. So they're doing a better job of putting the show out there and making it more accessible.
I don't know what strings Mark pulled, but the fact that it has been how many decades that has never happened? Has that ever happened? The challenge has never had multiple slots on MTV, and Mark Long has pulled off the impossible of giving us hours before and an hour afterwards. So, Godfather, we salute you.
I would say the last time they consistently did this, I was in high school. Like, they would have the episode on, then like an episode of Jersey Shore would come on, and right after Jersey Shore, a rerun would pop in at like midnight of the episode. But they're doing a good job. So I'm gonna give Mark Long and the producers their flowers on getting their product out there. As for this episode, I'll say it's staying the course. It's staying the course. Episode 5 had an uptick in the quality of the episode. 6 maintains it. As you said, we're going to give people credit that throughout the first 5 episodes, we've been dogging. I'm still going to dog them in this episode. But we give credit where credit's due. When good gameplay happens and when other people fuck up, we're going to call it out. And
even if we like them.
Even if we like them. And,
there's some things that happened this episode that, some people made some slip-ups. I will say, big moment this week for me. I had to go ahead and give our boy Adam a follow back on the Twitter and the IG. I think he's earned it. He has essentially been, in Handjob Steve's shadow, the ultimate king of the season. Like, let's be honest. And this episode did not disappoint with the Adam and Steve content, them finally being in power for once, safe, not being the scapegoats. I couldn't be happier. Couldn't be happier that they won. And once again, in true Adam and Steve fashion, they were good. They were naturally themselves, nothing forced, not trying to do anything above and beyond. Am I becoming a Steve and Adam stan page?
You might be. And for good reason. They do what they want. They win, whether it's in elimination or in a daily. Like, a lot of people were questioning the move tonight of putting in Corey and Big T. I see some merit to it, even though I understand the other side of the argument. But it's just like they're a constant presence. They are the one constant presence other than Frank throughout the course of this season of just being in the limelight and people not being able to do anything about it.
What is the pushback that people are giving that Corey and Big T?
They are saying that they're always going to be the target. Yeah, they just happen to win the daily this go around. So they're like, you might as well just swing big anyway and either throw in another star holder team in like Anani and Turbo, who they do see as a final threat against them, or a Fessel and an Amber, and try to prevent Fessel and Amber from getting a star. But to counter that, the other way to prevent Fessel and Amber from getting a star is not giving them the opportunity to get a star. There's no guarantee that they could have won or they would have won this one, just because I think weight was a factor in this elimination. And while Fessel is athletic and has a lot more balance than Corey does, and Amber's a lot more skinnier and probably can reposition herself a little better than Big T can, and they're more proportionate to each other, I think they could have won this one. But
I think Fessy and Amber would have won this one 100% because aside from the weight aspect, it was stacking stars.
Yeah.
Fessy is like 5 foot on his knees.
Yeah.
So like once they stabilized the platform, Fessy could have just did what he needed to do and did it. I don't think Fessy and Amber would have been the move tonight. There were really only 2 options of who Adam and Steve could have and should have thrown in.
Yeah.
1, Frank and Sam. 2, Corey and Big T. That's it.
Yeah.
They've wanted Frank and Sam from the beginning. I think looking at that elimination, that would have been an easy, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
And, you don't have to worry about them anymore. But Corey and Big T, like, are we really shocked? Like, literally last week's episode, Corey was giving him shit and giving him lip just for throwing a vote on him. And, wouldn't even let him explain why he was, throwing his vote. And when he explained it, it made perfect sense of like, hey, I've just voted for you before. I'm going to say your name again. I don't want to make anybody else upset. And, Corey was kind of bitchy about it. And I'm that level of petty where I would have been like, that's enough for me to throw you in this time.
Oh, so, yeah.
And hats off to Adam, for being petty.
Yeah. And truly, like you said, I came down to the same conclusion. It was like, you either throw in Corey and Big T because, like, who are you offending by putting them in? And maybe you get reciprocated by the star holders, not just the star holders that you made deals with, but maybe with Dario and Ashley too, for giving you potentially like your best opportunity to stay in the game that isn't one of your core allies. The other side is, we see Adam wanting to target Frank early in the season. Maybe there's some conversation that we don't see because they decide to not let us see any strategic talk of what they want to do. What if Veronica and Katie went to them and was like, hey, Frank did us a solid here letting us know our name was out here. Could you please not put them in? And because I feel like Adam and Steve would probably be like, yeah, like you guys try to help us in this game. You're our only allies. We'll do that for you. And plus, I have this phone to pick with Corey, so we'll throw Corey in.
Yeah. I mean, here's where I look at some things. So I'm going to call out people who I like. First is Amber. She's an idiot.
Love her, but
Trust in Veronica. Dumbest move you could ever make. That is like, Veronica has done nothing to ever earn Amber's trust at all. And like, you need to be smart enough to understand when you're on a strong team and when there's a weak team, like saying something to you. And like, at the end of the day, you did no cross-referencing. The first thing I would do if someone like Veronica walked up to me and said, this is what's trying to happen, I've been like, okay, Veronica, follow me. And I would walk right into the room with Nicole and Melissa, and I'd be like, hey, Veronica just told me that you guys are trying to get me thrown in. Is that true?
And then Melissa and Nicole have the issue of they can't speak. So
yeah,
it'd be hard to understand anyway while they defend themselves.
This is where I understand the critique of Big Brother and Survivor players, because that is such a classic Big Brother and Survivor way of handling a situation like that.
Yeah, like just cross-referencing.
Like, oh, I'm not going to say a word because I'm going to keep my cards close to my chest. It's like, dude, you're in the challenge house. Let's be real here. That's critique number one. Now, they did make the deal with Adam. They avoided being the house vote. That worked out in their favor. I think that was more Fessy's doing than Amber's.
Yeah.
100%.
But
Hats
I
off.
also will say, Amber's probably the one who would be more willing to be like, no, we are holding to the deal than Fessel, which could benefit Adam and Steve.
Sure, 100%.
Yeah.
Second critique is Corey Lay. You're holding on to all of this information, all of it.
Why?
You got voted in as the House, or sorry, you got voted in, you didn't get voted in as the House vote. Okay. You ended up getting thrown in by Adam and Steve. Only after you're eliminated is when you tell Amber all of this stuff. All of this stuff. All of it.
Yeah.
So that just, I look at Corey as like, you're a shady player. You're a shady player because you were aware of all of the stuff that was going on. And I like Corey. That's my guy. You were aware of all the stuff that was going on. You just genuinely thought you and Big T were safe. 100% safe. You thought it was going to be a Fessy and Amber or a Turbo and Nani matchup with Dario and Ashley. And, you know, things didn't go that way and you got eliminated. And then you tell Amber all of this stuff. That information could have been brought to Amber beforehand. That's shady gameplay. That is something that when I watch things, I note it. And, you know, as much as I like him as a friend in real life, I'll never trust anything he says or I'll never work with him. You know, I won't target him because it's not worth my time to target someone like Corey Lay, but I'm never going to work with him ever. Yeah. You know what I mean? I will say Dario and Ashley, great episode all around for them. After last week's episode, I was kind of expecting Dario to pop off when he got the House vote and they were completely blindsided. And
yeah,
I thought it was kind of weak that they both kind of like took it on the chin. And, you know, and once again, I've never met Dario. I'm just going off of vibes. Kind of think I like the energy he's bringing. Right. Yeah. Ashley, I've met Ashley. She's really nice. I'm cool with Ashley. You know, but the voting for yourself, that's weak sauce.
It's what she does. It's like last week she kept like picking herself as the answer for everything or no one. I'm like, you can be a nice person and also target people.
But also, like, let's understand something. We're there to make a TV show.
Yeah. Like
nobody wants to see that.
Look, but the one thing we do want to see is her. It's like when we talk about like the challenge needs like more like, you know, eye candy. You want people that you are invested seeing doing athletic stuff or just doing stuff on the camera. Ashley and Dario, perfect pair for that.
Perfect pair. They're both good looking. You know, even the, you know, like the conversation that they needed to have almost felt like forced.
I also feel like, yeah, it definitely felt forced. I also feel like it's out of place. Like, I feel just my vibes is this conversation happened earlier. This conversation happened either a previous round, earlier in the round, something. Because this is not the conversation I'm thinking of having immediately after winning an elimination or, like, being in risk of, like, going into elimination. It's like, oh, here, let's finally have the talk. Like, this is something that happens, like, beginning of the game, essentially.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Like that is something that you definitely get out of the way earlier. I think it happened, you know, in real time there. You know, but once again, at that point, it's kind of, you know, out of place because I want the initial, like, we're on together, we're together. Now we're having this talk like early on. Now you've gone how many weeks? You know, You've already gone through X amount of dailies, X amount of eliminations. You guys have a newfound respect for each other. So anything that you guys would want to say, you're not going to say. And once again, you know, this is why I was very vocal when, you know, Mark hinted at an X's season. And I'm just like, just don't bring back people that are at different points in their life, because that's exactly how the conversations would go on an entire X's season with people who were exes like 8 to 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, oh, we need to hash this out. Well, actually, I'm married now, and I have 3 kids, and actually, my life's pretty great, to be honest.
You want to know? You want to know what an Nexus season would look like with all OGs? That conversation times the entire season.
Yeah, yeah. Like we aren't gaining anything. Now, the thing I wanted to have is because like you have Dario making the tease of like, oh, we're both single, but I'm married to the money. I'm like, no, that's not what I want. I don't want you married to the money.
Yeah, I want Dario. I want you to say this. I would like you to say this and tweak it however you want to tweak it. Yeah, we're both single. I want to win that money, but my ex still looks hot as hell, and I would love to smash that like while we're winning money. Like Dario, that's what I want to hear from you, my guy. Like you've got the charm, you've got the charisma. She does still look good. You guys are both of age, adults, consenting, both single.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Have fun.
Yeah,
Have fun in the challenge house. Like,
what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Even if it's just a quick, like, I mean, listen, exes do that all the time. Like quick rekindling, like, wow, all right, we still got it. That was cool. Yeah. Not going to work out on a relationship standpoint, but at least we had a little bit of fun.
Exactly. Now
it's crazy. Like I don't, I can't really speak because I haven't been in a house with an ex, but if I was single, ex was single, ex still looked good, I'd be like, hey, one time for the one time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Now, before we get to like the main thing of the season, because I'm also just trying to avoid giving praise yet.
Yeah, we'll save that.
So we get to daily time. We get essentially what we predicted, which was you're doing the competition. The highest placing non-star holder gets the star, but doesn't necessarily mean they win the challenge. So like a star holder can still win, and the only thing that they get is the opportunity to keep themselves safe. And I will admit, I said beforehand, before we went live, that there's some things I have issue with. I still have issues with the whole mechanism of this game because I'm like, there's literally no reason for you to have a star until like the end of the game is what they were telling you. Because like there's no benefit of being a star holder winning elimination because you just keep your star. There's no point in going against another star person because you don't get to control where that star goes. Now you get to the daily and you can win the daily like our boys do. And the only thing they get is, okay, they're safe. They don't get to redispense the star. They don't get to even, because I think it would have been a cool twist where it's like, if a star holder wins, that star is not available till the next daily. Like, essentially withholding it from all these people who have been too scared to go into elimination to get a star. Like, that's how it should be. If this is the mechanic that they want, they should be making it a point to the players that, like, we want you in elimination to get a star. We don't want you to get a handout. We want you to feel like you earned the star and not because you got the fourth best time, but because the first 3 were star holders, congrats, you get the star. It's like, I know Frank and Sam do well overall amongst the field, but I'm like, they didn't win.
Yeah, I thought that we were past the participation trophy twists on the challenge, but here we are. We're not. It's unfortunate, but hey, happy for Frank and Sam.
Yeah.
Like as a matter of like Frank has done enough from a character standpoint where I'm like,
he's earned it.
All right. And Sam, she needed this break. Let's be real. Yeah, I think that it would have made it a little bit more interesting if they hold on to that star for it to possibly be up for grabs, or since Adam and Steve won, you give them a second star that they can give to somebody else, right before the elimination starts, or hold on to that. And like, once again, if maybe one of their allies is in elimination, then they can throw the star down and save them. Or since they would have 2 stars, maybe if they're open for elimination, they can say we are going to use one of these stars to save ourselves. And then boom, now playing field is even. They're back to their 1 star. At any point in time, they could go in. I don't know. I'm just spitballing things here.
Or what if it's like a second life? Like you get to have the second star. They get thrown into elimination anyway for whatever reason, and they lose. Well, the whole point of their saying of elimination is you go into elimination to get a star. We have given you a star. We'd still hold a star. You get to still be in the game, essentially. It's like because you allow this team to have multiple stars in their possession, they essentially get a second chance in the game because they've earned more than you. Yep. It's probably the one I like the least, but it's a potential thing out there. Either way, it's better than what we have. It's better than what we have, and it's just like
I am just so curious as to how a team like Veronica and Katie are ever going to be capable of getting a star. I truly don't see them winning an elimination.
I don't see them winning a daily.
I don't see them winning. Yeah, I don't see them winning anything at all.
And I feel for Katie because I like Katie.
I like Katie.
I think Katie's awesome. Very fun.
She still looks good at her age.
Awesome. And she has a self-awareness of being honest in confessional, or at least mainly honest in confessional, where she's like, we need to figure out how to try hard. And I'm like, you're almost there. You're almost there. Because you guys are trying. You guys are just the worst performing group that's left in the game. So it's not like you have Veronica at the beginning of the episode being like, oh, I need to have targets on the most athletic teams that are more athletic than me. And she only lists essentially the star holders and Fessel and Amber. And I'm like, I hate to break it to you, Veronica, but like you are in this season, you are the least athletic person there. At this point in time, you are the least athletic person.
He has better cardio than Sam, because on that one daily, Sam was dying with the balls.
True.
That's the only thing I'll give her. But I would agree. I think at least Sam, from an athletic standpoint, probably more athletic.
And she also, and this isn't a knock on Katie, but like Sam has a better partner.
100%.
In Frank.
From a team standpoint, no shot. Katie and Veronica are the worst team there.
Yeah.
Because Sam has Frank. And Frank is not disappointing at all this season.
No.
Like, everything about Frank is a fucking chef's kiss.
Yeah, and like he's doing this from because we have the big issue of a lot of these teams and how they're playing is they all think they're in the middle. They all think that they're in the middle with all these interwebbing things. Like Frank and Shane and Davon's whole thing this episode, which they finally got screen time this episode, was the fact that Davon has this side of the house, and it's basically the big brothers, Turbo, Nani, and Corey Lay and Big T. Then you have Shane, who has the OGs, and then Melissa and Nicole, which leaves only in the middle San Diego. It leaves Frank and Sam, and then and Ashley and Dario as the people that team is not connected with. Now, you know what? Tell us more about that. Like,
you want to know what I'm afraid of, just based off of the editing being so obvious? We got a lot of Shane and Devon this episode. They didn't go home. If next episode we're also getting a lot of Shane and Devon, I got a feeling that they're going home. And that would be so disappointing because, like I've mentioned this whole time, I know that Devon is bringing absolute gas to her interviews.
Oh, yeah.
Gas.
And
the fact that we didn't see much of it until this episode, a little bit concerning.
Yeah, it's like for both of them, it's like Shane is like his whole thing is he's messy. He likes to be in the political game, but he's also very messy. We're seeing none of it. Devon, very good strategy, very good social
and
game.
Shane is shady. Like in his confessionals, he's usually a shady guy, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, and this season it's like, we're trying to play the numbers, and Devon is in the background, and like, look. Obviously, things could be happening that they're not showing in the edit. I'm not going to go out there and be like the people who are like, oh, she's like KC now. She's just furniture in the background. That's not what I'm going to do because I know Davon better than that. I know Shane better than that. Like,
I think I saw somebody tweet that, and I'm probably going to respond to it tomorrow. Like calling that person out. I forget who it was. I think I saw.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'll find it because that's dumb.
It's like they're great. They're great, but like unfortunately, and I think it goes more to what we were saying last week. And it's just that I think for the overall story that All Stars is wanting to tell, it's not through the lens of the game that Shane and Davon are playing. So they could be doing a lot more, and the players could tell us afterwards, like, oh no, like they had all this like going on, they had all this type of control. We're just not being told it. We can only go based off what we're being shown. So like that's why Frank gets a lot of kudos. And like in this episode, Veronica and Katie are going to get kudos because they're in the limelight.
Well, this is a great segue to the Veronica and Katie of it all.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start it off with, I'll give the compliment first, and then I'm just going to go into everything else. So the only thing that I will give Veronica credit for is that after causing all of the chaos, that I'm almost positive Katie probably came up with it. Let's be real. Because Veronica doesn't really play the game anymore. But in the chamber, when everybody was throwing the house votes and everything, and everybody was like, who's saying what? Who's doing what? The fact that they sat there silent with the best poker faces I've ever seen was one of the most impressive things I will say, and it was hilarious. I cackled. And it just goes to show how weak certain people are. And I'll call out like the newer people because this isn't something that you would see OG vets do back in the day because they would have 100% been like, oh, an open forum in front of everybody? Well, you want to know who told me this? Those people. And then the next person will be like, oh, that's funny because you want to know who told me this? These people. And then it turns into this whole chaotic thing. But instead, they're all sitting there like idiots. And Veronica and Katie were able to just get away with doing what they did. Now, there's the kudos. The not kudos of it all. Frank is the mastermind. That's just it. In a nutshell, Veronica, shut up. You are not causing or doing anything other than being a layup. As a matter of fact, I felt pretty grossed out that I had to see the montage of her getting up and waddling into different rooms in outfits that are not flattering. Close-ups of the face, also not flattering. And like it's like, come on, guys. Like, let's be real. Frank is a much better looking guy, and he is actually controlling the game. Let's focus on him. I'd rather have the montage of Frank walking into rooms with his shirt off and his chiseled body and the close-ups on his face with his jawline looking absolutely snatched, because that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
That's what people want to see.
So
show more of Katie. Show more of what Katie did. I want to know what Katie did.
Well, that's why I will say I like that they showed because they show it in 3 parts. They show Frank drop the little seed to Veronica, mainly to also save himself, because there is a very big world where he could see himself being picked by Adam and Steve, or the house trying to throw him and Sam in. So he puts a seed in to make Veronica do work and make Katie do work. Veronica does a decent job at causing the new school people to start spinning. But it's Katie who points them in a direction without saying a name. Katie's the one who pulls Melissa aside, be like, look, I don't want you guys to go in, but we need a bigger name to go in, but I don't know who, which leads to Melissa then saying, oh, so we should go after a star person. And he's just like sitting there, be like, I didn't think of that. Who would you want? And it's like, and then they push the Ashley Dario thing.
Like, you're gonna have Katie do the, Katie's masterclass, right? But you're not gonna actually show the masterclass happening.
Like, that's, I guess,
like I want to see Katie the masterclass. Like, guys, you're not fooling anybody. Whoever's putting this shit together, like nobody thinks Veronica's a mastermind other than fucking Mark Long, and dumbass fucking fans who like are just blindly be like, yeah, like no,
yeah, she's so got it.
I'm so sorry. Put Veronica on a season with actual gamers, because she's not there with any gamers except for Frank.
Yeah, because like let's even like show it, because like the plan is
by proxy, Frank and them have to work together because they're weak teams.
Yeah, but like, and that's the whole thing. It's like Veronica and Katie wouldn't have thought of this plan themselves, because their whole thing is thinking, well, we're not going to be targeted, even though Adam and Steve won, because we're the layup team. Why would anyone waste their time putting us in? So like they're resting on their laurels on that. And honestly, Nany calls it out. And Nany's like, look, I don't give a shit that they're the weakest team. If we think Adam and Steve are going to target strong teams, throw the weak team in. Then it's an easy win for any of us. And like that plan should go through. Like, even if Amber doesn't want to vote Veronica, because Veronica was friends with Darrell, and I was very good with Darrell on my first 2 seasons. I don't care. Like, the vote's going to happen. So
let's just call it what it is. If you are the person that wants to go into the challenge and think that like you have these kind of spiritual connections, if you pray to your crystals for guidance, and then you're shocked when you find out that like somebody's been lying to you the whole time.
What game did you sign up for?
I'm gonna make fun of you. Like that just is what it is.
But then going to what you said, where it's like Veronica goes and talks to Melissa and Nicole and really says nothing, then goes to Amber and says, Melissa said your name, Nicole said your name, and they just believe it. If I'm the rest of the group, I'll be like, okay, we have the votes. Like whenever they kept saying they are doing this, why didn't any of these smarter, like, the quote-unquote smarter players, like the people who have been there, done that, go like, I'm sorry, we all agreed we had 5 votes locked on Veronica and Katie. Who gives a shit if any other name is out there if we're all voting together? And like, no one reclaimed that. And even when the votes start happening, you have the confessionals from Nany and from like all these other teams that are like, I'm just going to roll with it. I don't know what's happening, but it's not me. So I'll let my ally go in. No, like, if you want better positioning in the game, call it out. Call it out and be like, what is this? What is this? I would have been like, who's they? And if no one's answering they, then we all should be voting for Veronica and Katie. Like, end of story. And then just like force it through. Because we have seen it on the challenge time and time again. If someone tries to force something through in a live setting, it almost always happens, because then everyone else goes, oh, it's not me.
Here's the thing, is public forums are the best place to cause chaos, because that is where you're going to see everybody's cards. Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. There's only 2 times, like, oh, what the hell did I just do? What the fuck?
You're there.
Okay, that was fucking strange. There's only 2 ways to cause chaos in a game, and it's to do the cross referencing as it happens in real time. So the second that Veronica went to Amber and said that, you go, okay, come over here.
Mm-hmm.
And you do it right there. Or you sit there and you go, I think they're kind of lying. I'm going to wait until everybody's in a room and I'm going to call it out.
Yeah. And it's just like, because there's too many players on that side that could have done something about it that chose to do nothing. So you only have yourself to blame when someone within your group in like a Corey and a Big T go down there and lose when you could have prevented it. Like I'm sorry, were Katie and Veronica gonna win this elimination?
No shot.
They're both 5 foot. Like no. That it wasn't going to happen. You don't know that, but I'm like, the odds are if you just do what you guys said you were going to do, it's done.
I mean, we knew Adam. If they would have all just stuck to the House vote and voted them in, but this once again, this shows how weak certain people are, and it's like the one thing that I'll say is it's like, this is why you don't really see too many Big Brother and Survivor people be successful at the game, because all it takes is just something like that to like rattle them and make them paranoid. Like that's just, that's.
And like, unless you're the person in Big Brother or Survivor where like when you were in Big Brother, like until you weren't, like right. you had a lot of control in the game. Like you were among the power players. Like you were the one causing the people to fall into line. Like, and there's too many people that come from Big Brother that just know just go with the flow strategy instead of being like, be the person who controls the flow. And like,
but also there's tons of stuff. Like there were numerous times in War of the Worlds 1 and War of the Worlds 2 where, people tried to come to me and they tried to play that BS of like, oh, your name is being, tossed around by this person. Like I remember early on, like when Bear and Devon had power, like I knew I was safe, like because Devon was Bear's partner, but Bear was going around saying whatever, like to try and rattle me, So the first thing I did was like, I walked up to him and I said, hey man, you can throw me into an elimination. That's cool. I said, I'm going to come back. I said, but I'm not going to target you right away. I said, I'm going to target your girlfriend, Georgia, and then I'm going to target you. I was like, just so you know. I was like, and that's how this is going to go down. I was like, I thought me and the Brits were cool because, is partnered with Cara and we're here. So like, I thought we were all protecting each other, but if that's not the case, then cool. I'm winning all the dailies. How long do you think you're going to stay safe for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the Worlds too. Numerous times like, oh, the people are going to vote you in, like right after Laura went home and right after we sent Bananas in, Jordan and Tori were in the tribunal with Turbo. They could have made a 2-1 vote to throw me in. Okay. And I knew it, that it was being passed around the house. And I just said to Jordan and Tori, I said, hey, I would understand if you want to throw me in. I said, I haven't targeted you guys yet. I would love for us to be able to work together now that the people that were causing the friction are gone. But if you throw me in and I come home, it's game on from there. Now we show up to the elimination. It's a hall brawl. Bear's already in. I think they knew that Bear wasn't going to beat me in a hall brawl.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they had an opportunity to do it, right? There was multiple times in War of the Worlds too, where there were opportunities for people to make choices that could have changed the outcome of the game, and they just didn't. And that's where I get a little frustrated with someone like Amber and Fessy because, and maybe it's not so much Fessy, but it's like Amber being so blindly trusting to Veronica, where it's like, you guys are the powerhouse team. As a powerhouse team, why are you not trying to influence the politics of the game?
Right. Especially when because something that bugged me was when Melissa was like going around scrambling and one of her professionals said, it's too early in the game to be thrown into elimination. I'm like, girl, there's 8 teams left now after this. They're not going to have 4 more eliminations.
Castmates, they play too much for camera time instead of playing for the game.
Right.
And they play too much for camera time in the sense of like, oh, it's too early. I don't want to get thrown into elimination. What that translates to is I don't want to get not enough TV time.
Yeah. I want that one extra episode. Even if it means I don't go.
It's getting embarrassing. All right.
You need more people there that want to play to win the game. You need more Adam and
Yeah.
Steves. You need more Franks in the world. Like you need, like I'll even say Dario. Dario is there
Dario's
to
there
win.
to win. Dario's there. Dude, Dario just screwed over his best friend last episode. I can respect that more than somebody going into a confessional saying it's too early to get thrown into elimination. Like, come
right.
on.
Like you mentioned it earlier in the season. And I feel like this episode really exemplifies it and should be a case in point thing for future players. Lions and like hyenas of it all. Because like the Lions are the star holders. The people that are holding the stars are the Lions. They're in the limelight. They have like the power in the sense that they can get to the final. You have Adam Steve who are winning and beating people down in elimination. Like Fessel is a lion, like in terms of the dailies. But everything else, everyone else is a hyena. Everyone's like, I don't want to win elimination. I don't want to go down in elimination. I don't want to have a star yet. But as soon as it's a vacant star, the hyenas come out. And like, oh, we're going to go super hard in this daily because we want to be able to have a star now. And then they flop. And then they go home because they didn't try until there was the easy path.
Exactly. That's, you know, but hey, that's what happens. And that's the thing is all these people who are trying to stay there for longevity to kind of for the camera time, so to speak, and they are essentially afraid of eliminations. It's like, well, you got what you got. Sorry about it. Like and that's just it.
The road to success isn't an easy one. If it was an easy one, we'd all be champions. But guess what? That ain't life.
Amen to that.
You know?
No, I got you, man. So Dario and Ashley win the elimination.
Yeah.
Dario's actually, you know, obviously pumped, right? I would have taken that as an opportunity to curse off everybody on the row.
Yeah,
right?
I thought we were good.
Point, here's the thing. At that point in the game, there's 8 teams left.
Mm-hmm.
How many strong teams? Dario and Ashley, Turbo and Nani, Fessy and Amber, Adam and Steve.
4.
At that point, if I'm Dario, I win that elimination. I turn to the column and I say, fuck everybody on there. Yo, strong teams. Let's fucking ride it out. None of these people deserve to be in that fucking final. Fuck them. Every single house vote, we are going to vote for one of them because one of us is going to win the daily. And guess what? Sure, at 4-4, that means that you can't vote. A strong team's getting voted into elimination. Well, guess what? That means that strong team in power can vote the weaker teams in. And now you're cleaning house.
Yeah. Like
and
in theory.
That's the embarrassing thing about it is like you need to have the situational awareness to just put it where it is, man. Like, yeah, there was a point in War of the Worlds too where it's like, you know, I was trying to gather the numbers. It wasn't the right time to kind of come out and go balls to the wall, right? But I was strategically doing it. Once I got D and Idris to flip, to throw Laurel in to that elimination, we all held our breath. I knew if Laurel won, I was a goner. I was in the next elimination. That was that. Laurel loses. Immediately, what I did was started to tighten the bolt of leverage, right?
Mm-hmm.
In order to convince my team to give me power on the next win, knowing what I was going to do.
Right.
Took that shot. Once again, if it didn't work out, I'm a goner. But it worked out. And the second that it worked out, I walked onto the bus and Tori tried to say some dumb shit. And I fucking lost my mind on her and every single other person on the USA team being like, you started this. You fucking threw Wes in. Now I'm going to fucking finish this. Right. And none of you are saying a fucking word. And anybody who's fucking riding with me, you ride with me. Otherwise, if I find you're trying to play both sides of the fucking fence, I will target you before I target them. So if you want to make it as far as possible, you ride with me because my targets are boom, 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 boom. That's it.
Yeah.
Simple. Plain as day.
And in terms of like this season, and it's not even just this season, but in general, I feel like, yes, would you want to go to the final as a strong team against a bunch of weak teams? Duh, of course. But I feel like there has to come a time when you need to adjust your strategy. If like you are a strong team that's constantly being thrown in, or you're seeing that all the weak teams are going, like because there's only 2 teams that are here that have won an elimination. Adam and Steve, Dario and Ashley. Those are the only 2 teams that have gone to elimination.
It's actually crazy to think about that. In 5 eliminations, only 2 teams have won eliminations.
Yeah, everyone else has gone home, and only one of those teams was a strong team in Devin and Leroy. So it's like you throw that away. You have to get to a point in the season where, and that's why I give kudos to Adam and Steve. Even if it doesn't work, even if they get betrayed next week, you have to have the mindset of like, I just want to get there. Let me get to the final, and I will compete with whoever is there. Like there's a certain point where you have to get rid of the control of these are who I want to strategically put into the final, and just be like, let me have control over me getting to the final, and I'll deal with the rest when I'm there. Because you have to be at the final to win the final. You know?
Dude, you're preaching in the choir, bro. They should just cast you instead of half of these people, because
I'll be like 6 months in the gym, and then they come off. But like,
all right, bring us home. What are some closing thoughts?
Yeah. So overall, we maintained the pace of episode 5. So I am happy with what we got. I'm curious to see what happens next week, because we see, I think it's potentially the Veronica and Katie boot episode based off how they're doing it. And you know what? I'm fine with that. So if that's what's happening,
I'd be so happy if Veronica went home and I don't have to see her face for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm shocked there's not more penguin memes going around on the internet when these episodes air. If I knew how to make memes or GIFs, I'd be making them.
Same. But I don't got that time.
Dude, here's the thing. Like, you know it's bad when Veronica and Anissa got play, and there's not one single person talking about being attracted to Veronica.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's just it's like
bars in hell.
Yeah. Bars below hell at this point, man. And look, I just need her off my screen. I need her off of my season right now. But that, I believe, wraps up everything for this episode of All Stars. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, Dan will be back to join us.
Send your prayers
next week.
Big old Dan.
Send some good prayers and blessings to our boy Dan. On the network, there's tons of content going out. Jonny and the group is doing a bunch of content for U.S. Survivor, Australian Survivor, Deal or No Deal, Traders finale tomorrow. There's tons of content out there. Make sure you click the like on this video, press the bell for notifications, and hit subscribe on YouTube to get all the content when content comes out, or subscribe to the where you listen to your podcast on any audio feed. And if you want to become a patron, join at realitypatron.com. Try for a month. If you don't like it, Jonny will give you money back. No questions asked. But until next time, that was Paulie. This is Alex. We're Challenge After Show. We'll be back next week.